Okay, so we're going to start off by taking your bottle, and I'm going to put these other balls to the side, out of the way. Now, the measure for plaster of Paris is usually twice the amount of powder as you have water. I found for this, it sets easier and quicker in the inside, the slidey inside of the balloon, if you like, if you put slightly more powder in. For this one that I did yesterday, I put 5 cups of powder to 2 cups of water. You have to kind of work that out, trial and error. If you put too much powder, it'll become too dry and too fragile. As it dries, your bowl will just crumble. But that's kind of something you're going to have to experiment with. It's probably slightly variable with the kind of plaster that you use as well. So I'm just going to start, because I don't want this video to go on forever. See, there we go, mess already. So we have 1 and 2 measures of water. And then I'm just going to give that a quick dry inside so that my plaster powder doesn't stick now to the lid, because I'm going to be measuring my plaster powder in through the funnel into the bottom. You have to be ready to go as soon as the plaster is mixed in the bottle. So make sure you've got your balloon. I find it helpful just to inflate it. First, if it's been inflated, then it is much easier to blow up when you come to that part. Okay, so we have our water in there. We have 2 parts of water, and I'm going to put in 5 parts. So that's just over twice the amount of powder. So that's 1. 2. See, mess. Can't do it without mess. I'm kind of rushing because I don't want this to take forever. I would normally actually be a little bit more careful than this. That's 3. Don't lose count. If you tend to lose count, then measure out your powder beforehand into a separate container. 4. I get distracted. You know, there's a puppy, you may have noticed, running about outside. Various children, all that kind of thing. It's easy to lose count. 4. I think that's 4. And just a little bit less than 5. Well, let's go for 5 as well. There we go. Okay, so that's all flowed in nicely. It's now in the bottle and the setting process will start. So you want to get your lid, put the lid back on the bottle, and give this a mix. Give it a shake. You normally don't do this vigorously when you're mixing plaster because you get bubbles in it, but with this process it's being sugared around so much anyway, and I've not found too many air bubbles in my bowls by doing it like this. So it's now mixed. What I'm going to do is blow up my balloon. You can decide how big you want it. You can always let a little air out afterwards. Now at this stage, don't tie it, obviously. What you do is you just twist. Twist the top of the balloon like this so that it's relatively sealed. Take the top of the balloon, this is fiddly, and just stretch it and put it over the neck of the bottle sufficiently that it doesn't just pop straight off again. Now you want to try to hold on to the neck here like this, and you'll see the balloon, as you invert the bottle, the balloon will just untwist, and as that happens, the plaster starts to go in. I have no idea if I'm on screen. My photographer decided to go shopping this afternoon, so I'm having to do it by myself. Okay, I think that's my bottle empty. Now this is the messy bit. I always get in a mess. As you remove the bottle, the balloon from the bottle, it kind of pops off. So that wasn't too bad. Now if you want at this stage, depending on the size of your vessel, this obviously will produce a vessel roughly this size. If you want something smaller, you can let a little bit of air out. It's completely up to you. I've got quite a lot of plaster in here, so I'm going to go with the big balloon. This is how I tie a balloon. You stretch it up, put your thumb and forefinger behind the long stretched out bit, kind of grab hold of it with this finger, and then stretch in behind and grab that bit. It's actually easier than I'm making it look. And then bring that round into your pinched finger and thumb and pull it through. It's a bit slippy. Right, you can see, I don't know if you can see, that there is you can see where the plaster is inside. Now that's going to start setting quickly. What I do now is I roll this around. I'm hoping that's not too firm a set. No, it's fine, you can see. If you sugar it around until you see it coating, you can see it coating the inside of the balloon. Hold it up against the light and you can see where you've got to. And just change the angle slightly as you go around. If you get your mix too thin, it will just all slide back to the bottom again as soon as you put your balloon upright. You're wanting a thick mix. It should feel heavy and it shouldn't be going slop slop like it's full of water. You've got a liquid thing that's movable in there at this stage still, but it's not really runny. That's because it's starting to set. So you have a limited time. Don't go off and have a cup of tea before you're finished. You've got 2-3 minutes to kind of get this how you like it. Now you can see that's kind of the level that my bowl has got to. If you like, you can swirl it around a little more. You'll get to know as you do. You have to experiment. I did loads before I got it right. Find out how much plaster fills what size of balloon and how thick you want your bowl to be. All of these factors come into it. Now that's coated nicely. It's uneven and it's going to be a bit of an art form, but I like that. Now just swirl it around again a little bit. Just move that around. Think of the shape of the inside of the bowl. Think of just trying to coat the inside of that balloon. Okay, now if you like at this stage you can suspend it on a string and that way you get a beautiful rounded bottom. Your bowl will rock about. Or you could tape it firmly down to the bench like this so you get a really flat bottom. Or what I tend to do is I just put it on my bench and I'll prop it up with some objects to stop it from falling over. Just 3 objects like this and just leave it. Here is one I did yesterday and it's basically waiting to be popped. So I'm going to show you what happens when I do that.